do you have any questions for Trevor?
I'll just take a couple of questions because I think you have to be out here at a certain time. But I just want to say before I do, thank you very much.
You bet.
Yeah, my cheque from the Koch brothers hasn't arrived this month, and I'm sure yours hasn't either. But the books do fund my travel. I've done 5 tours of the States. I'm here for 90 days at this time. And if I stay for 91, I will get a free cell phone. So, but look, so I appreciate any help. You know, I'm here for the Tea Party. I'm not here for any other reason. If you guys hadn't stood up, I never would have come here. So that's the truth. But any questions? Yes, ma'am.
What do you think, if you peel back the layers, why do you think the left is so invested in gay marriage?
Destruction of the family.
The structure of the family. It's a hatred.
Why would they care about that?
Well, it's the destruction of the family unit. They want to do anything they can to break down the family unit. So they want to devalue the traditional family. So they want to make something else better. They want to get hold of more kids, adopt more kids. The reason they're doing the gay thing in the military is nothing to do with human rights. It's purely to destroy the morale of the US military. The Russians who have been funding and directing the gay rights movement in this country, because it started out under communist Harry Hay, are banning it in their country because they know it will destroy your country and they don't want to allow it to do the same in their country. Right? So, yeah, and you know, look, there's a lot of conservative gay people out there, you know, but, you know, I'm not saying to condemn them all, but it's just the gay marriage thing is a tool of the left to break down traditional family values, to break down the culture of this society and impose, and it also enables them to impose hate legislation on your country. So if people beat someone up who's gay, they get 10 years in jail. If they beat someone up who's not gay, they get 5 years in jail because of the hate aspect of it. And this is a purely intimidation thing driven by the hard left. It was brought into you by the Maoists in this country. They drove it. Judy Chu is one of their people out in California, Congresswoman. But so, yeah, it's to destroy your values, to destroy your culture and impose theirs. There's a great video, and I don't have it here tonight, unfortunately, called Agenda, where you know Curtis Bowers, and he really goes into this effectively. And that's what I would say. The gay movement in this country was started by Harry Hay, a Communist Party member.
That's what Gorbachev said, you could destroy us from within.
Exactly, without firing a shot, you know, that's their strategy. They're breaking down the cultural values of America, which is why they took over Hollywood early, why they took over the training colleges, and why they took over the journalism schools. Because if you get all of those, you can dictate the cultural values of this country. And that's what they've done. That's why middle America is being indoctrinated. You know, I know you guys, and you guys all know, hard-working conservative families who slave all their lives to send their kids to college. They come back flaming liberals. You know, we've all seen that, haven't we? Why should we put up with that? Why should we fund it? Yes.
What insight do you have on Common Core and C-Scope?
Yeah, look, I haven't studied. I know that, look, I saw some Common Core, and I know that dear old Jeb Bush is pushing this, but I saw a Common Core textbook in Fort Lauderdale, and I was shocked. I knew it'd be bad, but they were openly talking about, look at this from a Marxist point of view. Do a Marxist analysis on this. And they'd have about 10 Marxist chapters, then they'd have one conservative chapter for balance. You know, one little half-page thing. We have unit standards in my country, which is a similar concept. And it's basically designed to turn people into monkeys and robots. You know, traditional education is designed to give you the tools to think for yourself. Common Core and unit standards is designed to slot you into a machine, to make you a cog in a big machine, to steer you into the right career, to determine your path for you, and give you just enough knowledge to be a monkey who turns the right levers at the right time. That's what it's designed for. It's designed to dumb you down, and it's atrocious. And the fact that Jeb Bush and a whole lot of business people are on board with this is just appalling. Even that one thing alone should disqualify that man from ever holding public office in this country.
Trevor, right over here.
Yeah, what suggestions have you got about our communist media?
Yeah, look, I've said worse than that, man, don't believe me. Look, what happened in this country was, in the old days, journalists were trained on the job. They trained in the local newspaper, and they'd go out and cover the court cases and the county fairs and the baseball games, and they were normal Americans with normal American values. After World War II, most journalists began to be trained in the journalism schools. They were college graduates trained in the journalism schools. The left got hold of those and turned them into indoctrination factories. So now 80% of journalists in your country self-identify as liberals. So in the long term, we have to get rid of those journalism schools and return journalism training to the papers, the communities, like the apprenticeship system, the cadet system. In the short term, we have to support our alternative media, the Glenn Becks, the Breitbarts, the pajamas media, everything we've got, our local papers that the Tea Party movement are putting out. We have to boycott the major, the Boston Globes and the, I don't know what's the one in Dallas? Yeah, we have to boycott those and promote our media as much as possible.
Is it really good to picket, more or less, in front of these places?
Oh, look, you should call them out on their bias at every opportunity, and I see nothing wrong with that. But the best thing, I think, is to organise nationwide boycotts of them. Because a lot of these big papers are on the bones of their backsides. They're not doing well, and they're hanging out because they know if they hang out long enough, Obama's going to give them state funding. The Democrats are going to do that. That's their plan. So you've got to finish them off now, boycott them, picket them, but promote your own media. And in the long term, you've got to get rid of those journalism schools because they are indoctrination factories, and the left got them real early.
One more right here.
Do you have any way that we could convince the Republican Party to work with us, that we're not a threat to them, that we are trying to save?
Look, to be quite honest, ma'am, I think you have to be a threat to them.
Yes.
Because if you're not, they won't respect you. If they won't respect you, you have to make them fear you. Honestly, I think most of the GOP old guard needs to be retired. You guys actually have to become the GOP. And I would say, I wouldn't be sly about it, so I'd say, look, we're the Tea Party caucus within the GOP, we're the constitutional caucus, we network all around the state, and we're coming after the rhinos and say, look, we are going to, any rhino who stands in our way, who doesn't support the Constitution, we're going to primary you as we can. Like in Australia, they actually have the Australian Labor Party, and I wrote a little article about this, has a faction system. It's one party, but they have three factions. They have the right faction, the centre faction, and the socialist left faction. And they all hate each other's guts, and they fight each other, and they scrap each other, but they horse trade for positions. But in election time, they all come together to fight against the Conservatives. I've been advocating that the Tea Party group set up constitutional caucuses within the GOP, join the GOP en masse as branches, and basically vote their way into positions of power, and be friendly with the GOP, say, but look, we're standing for the Constitution, and if it comes between the party and the Constitution, we're going to fight for the Constitution. And if you don't do that, you've got to get out of the way. Ted Cruz is just a star. And just because these guys will fold. They're gutless wonders, most of them. They'll go away and they'll hang out in the country club. You guys have the energy. And all over the country, you are changing the GOP from within. Unevenly, but you're doing it. And you've done it more in Texas than virtually anywhere else. So I don't have any great sympathy for the GOP old guard. I don't regard them, I don't think they need to be respected or venerated or held in any position of, anything to look up to. What's John Cornyn ever done for the constitution of this country? You know, really, seriously. So, I'm a bit aggressive about it, man, you know.
I guess just make them Democrats.
Yeah, exactly. Push them out and make them what they are. Make them stand for what they actually are.
Yeah.
You know, look, you guys have got Ted Cruz. You've got a whole bunch of good guys there. You need to promote them, and where you can, intelligently primary out the bad guys. You don't have to get them all. You just have to become the dominant faction. Once you're the dominant faction, you dictate the terms, not them.
You got one more.
Did,
One more
did,
question.
did Bonnier see the Tea Party light, and what are the chances of defunding Obamacare? On this
Well, they
bringing up
just
the vote.
passed the thing saying they're going to put a resolution forward, which will continuing resolution, which will not fund Obamacare. I'm told that that's supposed to be a trap for
Is it?
Ted Cruz, you know, to discredit him.
Yeah.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I think there is a strong chance of defunding it, and you just got to keep the pressure on. You know, yeah. Well, keep doing it. You know, the immigration and Obamacare are the two big things you got to stop. So either one of them will be a disaster. So just support your good guys. Don't trust Boehner one
No.
iota, and get them out of there as soon as possible. Just treat the GOP as enemy territory. You're the insurgents, and you're going to take over that party. Take no prisoners, take no mercy, take no crap from John Boehner, you know, or any of his boys. You know, on every argument that has been the last 5 years between the Tea Party and the Republican old guard, you've been on the right side every time. Immigration, the debt ceiling, you know, the bailouts, you guys have been on the right side, not them. And they don't have a record to be respected. They couldn't win the last 2 elections when they were in the bag for them, had they been aggressive about it. You know, Ted Cruz wouldn't have backed off after that first debate with Obama like Mitt Romney did. He had him on the ropes and he let him go. Ted Cruz would have just kept on going and annihilated him. You know, and that's the kind of attitude we need. This is a war for not just the future of America, but the future of Western civilization. And you've got to be aggressive when you fight wars. You know, think back to before World War II. You had Neville Chamberlain going to Hitler saying, we can work with this man, you know, if we've been nice to him, he'll be nice to us. And you had Winston Churchill railing on about this fascist Hitler and how he needed to be stopped and he needed to be put in his place. Who do we look to now? Who do we remember? Who saved the West? You know, this is a time for action, folks, and this is a time for aggressive action and not showing any regard for the enemies of this country. Simple. But thank you very much for coming along. It is a real honour to be amongst you, and I'm here because of you guys doing what you're doing. So thank you very much.
We'll be here over here. We've got Bus and Sam, and